So you think your girl might be cheating? Maybe she works at a place that is really tripping you out, or might be some random dudes that really seem like red flags sniffing around, or maybe it's just a feeling. But what the hell do you know? I mean, what proof do you really have? What are you gonna do to find out if she is or if she's not? You gonna confront her? You gonna try to follow her? I'm gonna ask her a bunch of questions to find out more information, at the same time trying not to tip my hand so she didn't have time to cover her tracks. Yeah. But what if she's not even cheating and this is just all in your head, but you don't want to get played? So what do? You're at a loss. But don't worry. That's what you got me for. You did the right thing. You came to class. Balance of power. Yes, this is a class. But I got you covered with today's lesson. How do I know when she's cheating? Let's get it in. All right, first things first, gentlemen. When it comes to cheating and the ladies and how they do it, they don't cheat the same way that gentlemen do. They have a system in how it goes down. There's going to be different ways and different things depending on the woman, and this is general. Not just because you see these things present doesn't automatically mean that your girl is cheating. But if these things are happening, especially if it happens in this order, yo, I'll be paying attention if I was you. Yeah, that's not great. So the system that they have is it's kind of a 5-step system. We're going to go over each of these in a good enough detail for you to at least understand what they mean and what they look like for the most part. Going straight in with number 1, pattern recognition. Now, how a woman's mind works, gentlemen, is they function as flaw finders. They recognize patterns in something and then they find the flaws in those patterns. So one of the first things that she does in order to make sure she doesn't get caught if she's doing this to cheat. Now, sometimes it's done unconsciously, subconsciously, sometimes it's done consciously. But either way, she first starts step 1 with an analysis of her pattern. What does this mean? That means she's going to take account of where does she go every day? Does she go to work? Does she stay home? Does she go to the gym? Does she go to the grocery store? Does she hang out with her girlfriends? Does she go with her parents and go to their house and hang out? Stuff like that. She does an accounting of all of her time. She does an accounting of how much time she spends at each of these places. And then she also does an accounting of the people she spends it with. Meaning if she's hanging out with her girlfriends, which girlfriends are they? Also going in depth of, are the girlfriends that you, as her man, do you like these girlfriends? Do you know these girlfriends? Does she hang out with coworkers that you either know or don't know? So I could go on forever with this. It's very intricate in how she's doing a detailed analysis of her life pattern. Where does she spend her time? Who does she spend her time with? So she can see like a schedule in her mind of everywhere she's at. She also, gentlemen, does an analysis of you, your pattern. Where do you work? Do you work at home? Do you work 2 hours away from home? Do you have a commute? Do you use public transportation? Do you use a car? Do you hang out with friends after work? Do you come straight home? Do you go to the gym? She matches and finds your schedule and her schedule because she's going to use that for step 2. Step 2, flaw finder. Now, like I said, she's looking at schedules, seeing the pattern, and she's trying to match them up. And when she does that matching, what she's looking for are natural holes in the system. She's finding flaws in it where there is a hole. So for instance, let's say that she normally gets home at 5 p.m. You normally get home at 6 p.m. That's 1 hour of unaccounted for time where you're assuming that she's at home. That is a natural hole. She saw the flaw or the hole in the system. If for some reason, like let's say you normally used to have lunch at the same time, used to take lunch at 12 and she took lunch at 12 and used to call each other on each other's lunch breaks, but her job switched stuff up or your job switched stuff up. So you're doing lunch at 12 and she's doing lunch at 1. So now there's an hour where, again, You're not in contact and you have no idea what she's doing. Natural hole. Now she's looking for natural holes in the schedule so then she can find time to fit in her dude who's trying to fill in her natural hole, if you know what I'm saying.
Damn!
I know, it sucks. I don't like it either. And I'm trying to make light of it because if you are going through this, I'm trying to give you some kind of humor. But I digress. The point is, she is going to analyze every single thing because this is going to come into play later. Now, if she can't find natural holes, she's going to generate artificial holes by moving into the next phase, which is number 3, pattern increase. So a pattern increase is when she will start to do extra things. So if she didn't go to the gym before, she's going to go to the gym now. If she didn't take 2-hour lunch breaks before, she's going to do it now. If she didn't travel for work before, all of a sudden now she's got to travel for work and go to all these different places where something in her pattern has changed to increase the time that she's not with you, where she's creating more holes. So she can easily be like, well, of course we didn't talk is because, I have this lunch break and now I go out with my coworkers to this one spot, or yeah, I'm going to the gym now. So of course I didn't have my phone on me. I'm at the gym. I'm working out. I'm lifting weights. I'm doing whatever, like whatever it might be. She's in work trips when she didn't used to be, where you can easily be called out for being ridiculous for wanting to know where she's at when she's like, you already know where I'm at. I'm in this natural hole. But it's not a natural hole. It's a hole that she created. Now, gentlemen, this is important to note. 1, 2, and 3. These first 3 steps, easy for you to misconstrue this as cheating. Just because she does these 3 doesn't necessarily mean she's cheating. Because it could be where her job just changed. It could be where she's just taking note of all the different things because women naturally ask you about your schedule and where you are and where are you at. She's always wanting to know, and she's always got an accounting of all of her time. And women are very detail oriented, as you should know. We are more big picture. They are more about the details. So if you see her trying to find time and see where things are at and how your schedules match up, it doesn't mean she's cheating. But this next one, though, if this happens, homie, I would be worried. Number 4, baiting. Now, this is really where it starts to get sinister. If you got a girl who's cheating and this is what she wants to do, women are ingenious when it comes to this kind of stuff. So baiting is hard to explain, but I'm going to try to break it down for you. It reminds me of something that you do in fencing called a feint, where she is basically moving in one direction to make you think that this is where she's going, all to go in another direction. It's to have you do this overcorrection over here just so she can stab you on this side. So she's going to do this with your jealousy with other dudes. So how does this work in practical terms? Well, what's going to happen is you're going to feel something. You're going to sniff it. You're going to feel it. You're going to sense it. You're going to sense another dude, his presence, somebody around your territory, because unlike what society has told you, it's not like we can't sense when some stuff is going on with our woman, our house, our job, our kids. Like we can kind of feel like somebody's sniffing around and they're getting a little too close. So she's going to create a situation in which you feel that actually doesn't exist, so that you start to doubt your own senses. What do I mean in a further breakdown? So let's say she starts going to the gym. She's going to go to the gym and possibly have one of the best looking yoked up gym dudes be her personal trainer and have nothing going on with this guy. But she's going to be flirty and whatever. Also that if you ever come by, you catch her doing whatever, you're like, yo, what's up with this dude? Come to find out she's like, oh, he's gay. It's not, you're just being jealous. Oh my gosh, you're crazy. Like there's nothing going on. What? And you're like, but I sense like the presence of a dude. Like, rubbing on, he's touching you. And she's like, that's how it's done. He's a he's gay. I was telling him about this guy at work and I'm trying to hook them up. Where somehow, some way, some situation where you sense something's wrong and you will be called out to make it look like you crazy. Where you think this dude over here is a problem, your senses are telling you there's male energy around your girl that doesn't need to be there. Because me personally, I don't give a flow if that fool gay or not. Hands off, homie. You got the same rules that a straight dude has. I don't give a nah. Not me. Anyway, I done seen too many things. But you're going to feel male energy that shouldn't be there. She's going to have a situation in which you don't trust yourself anymore. She's going to call you out. She's going to make you seem and feel stupid. She might say things like, you're insecure. You're just being jealous. Oof. And the icing on the cake, if she says to you that you're being controlling, woo, homie, that's kind of the kiss of death right there. Unless you are actually controlling her whereabouts, her coming and going and all this other stuff, if that's nothing you're doing and you just rolled up and saw some dude feeling on your girl and you're like, yo, what the hell? That's normal. So if she sees that whole scenario and calls you controlling, nah, man, she trying to make you look crazy. I mean, judge each situation individually. But if you're not actually a controlling dude and you're not doing anything to control her life, but she uses that word, that's usually an indicator that she's trying to set you up. She's trying to set you up for failure. She's trying to, especially if she does it like any kind of thing in public, like she says it in front of her friends, your friends, family, whatever. Like, oh my gosh, she's just so insecure. That's just, babe, you're just being controlling. If she labels you with these heavy-handed things, all because there's male energy around her and you naturally felt it, yeah, she's probably baiting you. She's probably making you doubt yourself and your feelings and your instincts right now where it doesn't mean anything, because later when you do feel it again in another situation, you're going to doubt yourself now. You're going to think about all the negative things that she laid on you and be like, well, yeah, I do feel male energy, but it might be like the trainer guy or another gay friend. She's getting you to doubt yourself and getting the public meaning friends and family and what have you, to doubt you as well. So she can go ahead and do what she wants to do. And then every time you start to investigate or think or inquire or what have you, she's like, oh my gosh, do we have to do this again? This is the gay trainer all over again. It's a bait. She got you to go this way. So stab you where it really hurts. So the stab happens in step 5. I mean, all of step 4 to me is just a cold stab, but step 5 is where it really happens. Step 5 is the enveloping. So women don't cheat the way that men do, meaning men will usually skip a bunch of steps and go straight into messing up their pattern. But women already know that that's how you get caught, because a deviation in the pattern is how they find the flaw, which is how they catch you. You don't set things up well in advance. She has gone through 4 steps of setting everything up, laying all the groundwork, so that now she's created these natural holes and she's made you doubt your instincts, that even if you sensed something that happened in a natural hole or a generated hole, you're going to think, oh, I'm insecure, I'm controlling, I don't want to be called that, so you're going to back up off. And then she's going to cheat within these holes. She's going to have the cheating be enveloped by her life. It's going to be something that she does in her life. It's not going to be some crazy, outlandish, like usually dudes will do this stupid thing of, oh, they are working late and they've never worked late before, and the moment they switch over to working late is they hitting it with their secretary. Like, that's easy to find. Women will have their normal life with whatever they're normally doing. So if you She gets home at 5, you get home at 6. During that hour, that's when stuff's going down. That's when things are getting in. If she normally goes and visits her family and she goes to another state, another city, or what have you, she drives on that drive or in the city where her family's at. She goes and runs errands and she tells her mom and dad, her sisters or brothers or whatever, oh, I'm going to go hang out with friends. Her hanging out with friends is her getting it in. But it's enveloped by her natural life. It's nothing out of the ordinary for you. You're like, she's been going to see her family once a month since we've been married. We've been married for 20 years. So that's not odd because she has her life wrapped around the cheating. You don't realize it. You don't see it. It's like slipping a razor blade inside a cake. You're just going to eat it. You're not going to know your mouth going to get chopped up if you eat the wrong piece. Now, each of these steps, each of these 5 steps, I could go in way more in depth with each of them because I was just scratching the surface, but I want to at least give you an overview of how it works because a lot of you don't even realize this. You think of it the same way that you would cheat, which is, oh, if I see something out of the ordinary, then, but nah, homie, they set things up generally. And again, just because these things are happening doesn't mean she's automatically cheating, but hey man, I'd be worried. But I did skip a step on purpose. I wanted to get straight into the actual steps of what happens when she wants to cheat, but I skipped step 0. Step 0, you might be wondering to yourself, or you might think you already know. But step 0 is, who is he? Now, who is this dude that she's cheating with? Why does she even want to cheat with him? Where does she find him? What the hell is going on? Now, when it comes to who he is, in terms of why she's doing it, there's a bunch of videos on our channel that explain like why she would cheat. So we're not going to go over it here, but we are going to talk about who he is, like where this dude came from. And I'm going to go in reverse order. So the least likely to the most likely, starting with number 3, least likely is a new dude. Some guy she met on some fun, drunk girl trip type thing. This is where she goes out to a bar with her girlfriends, hooks up with some dude in the bathroom, or she goes on a girls trip and hooks up with some dude in New Orleans, or she's on a cruise and the whole time while she's on a cruise with her friends or on a work trip or something where there's usually alcohol involved, something where it's supposed to be fun and she's supposed to be getting away from her life and escaping her day-to-day problems with her husband and her kids and and new dudes have pros and cons. Pro is that he's probably not going to be around for very long. It's probably just like a hit and quit it 1 time, 2 time, or during the trip kind of a thing, so you don't have to worry about it crossing over into your real life so much. Bad thing is, new dude, she don't know. So that means she don't know his name. He might have an STD. She could have got pregnant. She would probably do some crazy stuff that she didn't do with you, which sadly is probably the case no matter who she's cheating with. She's probably doing stuff she's not doing with you. Yeah, we're going to get into that later. But number 2, second worst, second most likely is a dude you know, but you know adjacently. So he'll be like the boyfriend of one of her friends or a husband of one of her friends or the husband of a coworker, or he'll be like a dad at the school. Something where she sees him all the time, but connected to some other person and you kind of know him. That kind of sucks because you know this dude and you've probably shaken his hand and probably, maybe invited him into your house, and now he's thinking he's entitled to everything. So that sucks. And the last one, the one most likely for it to happen, which is why this is so important for you to know in terms of like where she works and what she do. Coworkers, dude she spends the most time with. either coworkers or places she goes, like the gym or the pool boy. Let's say you got people coming to your house constantly. Like, let's say you got a bunch of money and you just got security guards running around. Could be a security guard. Could be the guy who, I don't know, is your personal assistant. Whoever she's around the most. Even if they aren't as good as you, even if they don't have your money, even if they don't have your integrity, none of that matters when she's trying to cheat. So let's say this happens and you don't know what to do. I got to prepare you for the fallout. Hopefully, this is not going on, and I am sorry if it is, but I would not be doing my job if I didn't try to prepare you and give you some kind of solutions and things. So we're going to move into that now. First thing you got to know is if your girl gets caught by you, even with evidence, she's going to turn into Shaggy.
All this time she was standing there, she never took her eyes off me.
It wasn't me. She's going to act as if you didn't catch her and as if you didn't see her at the hotel. And if you, no matter what evidence you have, I'm going to tell you right now, she's going to make it seem like it's all you, your fault, you're crazy, you're insecure, that doesn't exist, it's not happening, blah, 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 blah. So a solution for you, especially when you have to deal with the Shaggy of it all,
Wasn't me.
damn, is two main things. Number one, investigation, and two, asking. Now, what does that even mean? That means you gotta do, I don't really want to get into too much detail on what you need to do to investigate, but I'll just give you like one quick tip with this one, which is pop up. Just roll up during different times, meaning you are gonna be romantic, for instance. Use romance to your advantage. So let's say she's normally going to lunch from 1 to 2. Show up at her job with lunch and be like, hey, babe, what's up? I just got you this. Oh, thank you. Pop up at the gym just to be like, oh, I wanted to drive you home so that way you don't have to take the bus or get a ride or whatever. Start showing up and seeing what you see. Just start noticing things. And when you do show up, don't automatically roll up to her. Roll up slowly. Roll up quietly. Just walk up and don't be noticed for a little while. See how she functions, how she operates when she thinks she's not being watched. Now, technically, I am telling you to stalk your own wife, but at the same time, that's your wife. So, hopefully this is not a problem and you just look like a husband who's loving and looking at his girl from across the room versus, don't be weird and creepy and like peek around corners. It's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. But this is why I don't want to get too deep with the investigation because some of y'all go way too hard in the paint in the wrong direction. But I just want to... Basically, this is where you start to pay attention to these things, but mostly you gotta be showing up at these pockets of time that are natural holes. But ultimately, when you get enough information, or if you haven't gathered that much information because it's hard to do some kind of investigation, but you just feel it, when you get the urge and okay, now it's time, you got to do the simplest thing, which is also one of the hardest things. You got to just sit her down and straight ask. Ask. Yeah, I know. It can't be that simple. It kind of is. And I will show you how. So this is what you got to do. Number one, be absolutely serious. Tell her, we need to talk. I need you to sit down and we need to, have a serious conversation. So she might think to herself, like, okay, what is this about? Blah, blah, blah. Make sure, gentlemen, that when you do this, there is no distraction. So no children, no TV, no, I got to go to work, nothing. So pick a time, maybe the end of the night, even if she's tired or you're tired, like pick a time where no one can use an excuse to leave or to be rushed. Tired, yeah, okay, whatever. You're just going to have to ignore the tired. But children got to be away. Your job's got to be, nothing can get in the way of this conversation. And you can even announce that ahead of time. Let her know, We gonna have a talk tomorrow after work. There's some things I want to talk to you about. And again, be dead serious. Don't sound like you joking. Don't sound like you asking questions or like, can we talk? No, it's not a question of can we talk. Say, hey, babe, we need to talk. And when you do talk, try to do it almost like a business deal. Do it at a table if you can. Do it across from each other. Don't sit next to each other, but across where you're looking into her eyes. And be calm, cold, collected. You can't be emotional. Can't let your voice fluctuate and do all kinds of stuff. You gotta just be exactly how I'm talking to you now. Say something like, well, I gotta ask you this, and I want you to be honest, because this is something that's been weighing on me for a bunch of different reasons. So, are you cheating on me? Are you having sex with blah, blah, blah? Are you sleeping with this person? Are you sleeping with anybody? And by the way, gentlemen, during this question session, you need to be specific. When, and ladies, you might not like this, cannot care about that. I'm being honest with my dudes right now. When women are being slick and trying to be devious or whatever, it is almost always about the loophole. If you don't word or phrase this perfectly, she can get away with getting around the answer, and her mind will tell her, well, I'm not lying. So if you say, are you sleeping with Tony? And she's like, no, I'm not sleeping with Tony, because no, the dude's name is something else. So she can honestly say, no, I'm not sleeping with Tony, but she is sleeping with somebody else, and she won't tell you that because you asked about Tony. You didn't ask about Geraldo or whatever the heck homeboy's name is. So say broad statements that are big enough to encompass all the choices. Say, are you having sex with anyone else outside of our marriage? What do you mean? Are you having intercourse? Are you kissing anyone? Are you touching? Like, literally lay it out. If you feel strongly about this, and this is why I'm saying don't get angry, because again, you could be wrong. You could be completely wrong. You need to have this conversation that you could come back from it, even if you're wrong, even if you tripping or whatever. But this is also why you need to treat it seriously, because let's say you are wrong. Let's say she thought about cheating. She was doing these steps, and at the last minute, she decided no. Her pastor told her no, or one of her, I don't know, her mama was like, what you doing? Like, I don't know. Something stopped her. But the fact that she thought about cheating, and you sit her down and go, hey, we need to talk, and you're dead serious, now she's like, oh, snap. He sensed that. I didn't even actually go through with it, and he felt that. He is paying attention. He does notice. Oh my goodness. It will be a deterrent for any time she might be thinking about doing it. And it'll be a deterrent. Like, let's say she wasn't thinking about it at all, and it was just the gay dude at the gym who's rubbing up on her. It still lets her know that you are a serious man to deal with. That there comes a point in which you do not play. And when at least for me, I don't know about y'all, but at least for me, when it comes to cheating, I don't play about that. That's why I don't do it. Oh, yeah, just in case y'all didn't know, I've never cheated on anyone. Not with me being in a relationship. Nope. If I've committed to somebody, I'm committed to that person. Cedric doesn't cheat. That's a commandment that I have for myself. I don't do it. So I don't want nobody to do that to me. So going back to just straight asking her, like I said, calm, cool, collected, sit her down, no distractions, sit across, look at her. Your voice, your tone should be just as how I'm talking to you now. Like you're serious, but at the same time, you're ready for anything. So gentlemen, like I said, she's gonna be shaggy. So whether she's lying or telling the truth, it's all gonna be, it wasn't me. But what you're looking for, how you can tell whether it actually is her or not. And again, none of this is foolproof. This is just based on decades of experience with women's behavior in these situations. But you're looking for a few things. Number one, speed and tone of how she responds. So if she's like, oh my gosh, honey, like what's going on? And you like, Are you having sex with anybody outside of this relationship? Blah, blah, blah. However you phrase your questions. Because I would advise you ask more than one. You should ask a series of questions. Are you holding hands with anybody? Blah, 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 blah. Like, I'll give you a rundown of things that I've asked before at the end if you want. But after you ask your questions and how she responds, and she'll probably respond in between. She ain't gonna let you finish talking. Women be cutting in. You're looking for how concerned she is versus how angry she is. Is she more concerned, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that you feel this and what happened? Like, what's going on? How can I help you? Is she trying to help you with your feelings, or is she mad at you for having those feelings at all? Is it more like, what do you mean? Of course I'm not. How dare you? Blah. If it's just this auto, I'm hating, I'm mad, who do you think you are? Who you talking to? If it's anything like that, that's kind of a red flag. Because think about it. If you're not cheating as a man, and I know men and women are different, obviously, I'm the one who be teaching that. But for the most part, if you're not cheating, but your girl thinks you are, and she doesn't do the, constant, like, you're cheating with everybody. It's not that. But if everything was fine, all of a sudden she's like, yo, I just want to sit you down. Are you sleeping with anybody else? And she's just calm about it. How would you feel? You would be concerned for her, would you not? You would be thinking, oh my goodness, like, what am I doing to make her feel that no, baby, I'm with you. I love you, girl. It's all about you. Like, you would be reassuring, you would be caring, you would be loving. Now, she should respond in the same way, but it also does depend on what kind of girl you got. If you got a cold girl who just says things when she feels like it, then yeah, she might be angry because she be angry no matter what. What do I mean by cold girl? Like, let's say you wear some pants that she don't like. Does she respond with, yeah, those pants? No, you need to change because that's not it. Does she respond like that? Or is it more like, babe, I think you should probably change those pants. Because, yeah, you might not want to wear those, okay? Is she more soft and nice, or is she cold and direct? That's going to determine it. And then if she is normally soft and nice, and then in that moment where you're asking her, she's cold and direct, yo. The other thing you're looking for is not just her tone and her speed and how she talks. You're also looking for extra things thrown on there that you didn't even do and hasn't even popped up. Because during this question session, you shouldn't say anything about your evidence. You should say nothing about why you think this in terms of you watched her with this person or that. No, just say, are you? Because you feel it. It seems like you're just something feels off. She's a woman. She speaks and lives in feelings. So you are able to just say something feels off. So you don't have to give any reasons you don't have to talk about you popping up and that's why you popping up and that's why you were being romantic. None of that has to come up and it shouldn't come out of your mouth. So just don't go there. But if she starts saying things that you didn't bring up because you didn't bring up any of the ways you got the information or why you think what you think, and she says stuff like, what are you, like, spying on me? What are you, like, did you go through my phone? Are you violating my privacy? If she brings up stuff that wasn't even on the table at all, she says something about going through her stuff when you never went through her stuff. She talks about spying on her when you didn't mention it. And by all accounts, every time you popped up at the job, you were bringing her something. As long as you don't do it too much, you won't look suspicious. So she starts being overly aggressive with defending her privacy and her right to be able to do as she wants and none of these things that you laid on the table. If she brings up a bunch of stuff that makes her seem like she's separating herself from you and she's like, I'm the boss of me, you're not the boss of me, how dare you, blah. Any kind of that stuff, homie, that's a red flag. It really is. And at that point, you might have to get professional investigation popping because it doesn't necessarily mean she's cheating, but women who are not will respond pretty quick and pretty jovial and almost like it's ridiculous in a funny way. So it'll be something to the effect of, am I sleeping with anybody? No, but why? Are you trying to bring another girl into the situation? Because you asked about that before we got married and I said no, but I don't know. Maybe there is this girl at the gym who looks kind of good. Like if you make some joke where she's like, "No, babe, I'm not sleeping. Nothing's happening. Why? What's wrong?" And she goes into looking after you and your feelings. Again, women are all about the feelings. If she's not worried about your feelings in that moment, homie. And again, there is the thing that all women do. And yes, ladies, I'm going to say all women. By all, I mean like 85+% of you. Obviously, it's not literally 100%, but it's enough of y'all to make a huge dent. But something that all women do is they don't like to be wrong. They don't like to be told that they're wrong. They don't like to be accused of being wrong. They don't like none of that. But if you're telling her that there's this potential for her being wrong, but it's based in your feelings, and she supposedly loves you, this is where she should, at that moment, if you got a good one, be worried about your feelings. Even though she's wrong, she make fun of you and be like, "Oh my gosh, because apparently you think I'm cheating, but it's okay, baby. Come here." Like if she does something where it's a quick response, jovial, and looks out for you, again, doesn't mean she's not cheating. Doesn't mean she is. But more than likely, she might not be. But if you got a feeling, homie, and let's say you're not like a overly jealous type and this is not something you normally would feel and you're just like, something's off right now. You usually will have an off feeling for a reason. So I'll tell you really quick my thing that I say sometimes when I'm in that mode. And then if you want my whole rundown of how I would handle this conversation personally and what I would literally say word for word, put that in the comments down below. Let a brother know. Matter of fact, all the different things I would say, if you want to know, just in the comments, let me know. So I'm just going to skip now, gentlemen, to just some quick things that you can do as far as tips. Tips to keep you safe and kind of preventative measures. Tip 1, be irreplaceable. Now, there's many videos on this channel that talk about such things, but ultimately the goal is to try to deter some of this from going on at all. So if you make yourself so dope that it's kind of ridiculous for her to cheat, that it's just her being crazy is the reason why, then that's pretty much the best deterrent that you can have. So I want to say that up front. Just try to be irreplaceable. So much so that she's like, I'm worried that if I do this, he will leave me and I can't get him back. He's not easy to replace. Tip 2, be unpredictable. We already talked about this with the pop-up, but basically use that romanticness to pop up at different times and have your schedule be something where even though you have your schedule, every once in a while just flip it around and then like have her find out afterward. Where she's like, "Oh, you're spending more time out, like you got home at 6:30 instead of 6." And you're like, "Yeah, you know, I started hanging out with the homie Joseph for whatever reason." Do that for like 3 weeks in a row and then just stop. Just do things to just be unpredictable as much as you can. Obviously, it's going to be difficult when you got your job and all the regular things in your schedule, but at the very least, try to do those pop-ups and make it difficult for her to, again, think about it. Because she's like, yo, he's met everybody at work and sometimes he'll just pop up and give me lunch. So how am I supposed to just be cheating while I'm at work? Tip 3, be dangerous. Now, when I say dangerous, never dangerous when it comes to her physically. No, we're not talking about that at all. But in this video, I do talk about how you should be dangerous in terms of other men. She needs to think and know that when it comes to you, you don't play when it comes to other dude being around your territory. So if she thinks this about you, again, deterrent. She's going to, if she was entertaining some dude, be like, "Yeah, no, I don't know. My husband loves me, but he crazy though. And I don't think you could handle him. He nuts. You need to be someone that another dude would think twice before messing with. Another dude would think twice before taking your sandwich, taking your car, taking your house, taking your wife. And I'm just going to leave it at that and tell you to watch this video. Tip 4, beware. There is no stopping her. Ultimately, no matter what I'm telling you right now, no matter what I'm teaching you, gentlemen, if a woman wants to cheat, she gonna cheat. Even if she's watching this with you, she might be learning ways to try to get around it, but hopefully the things that I've done have shored up any holes that are in the system so that she can't wiggle through. But if she wants to, she will. She might cheat and just tell you the next day, be like, yep, that's what I did, so what? Depending on what kind of girl you got. So none of this is foolproof. You could be the best man in the world, do everything right, and if she wants to cheat, she wants to cheat. So ultimately, when it comes to that, you just got to pick the right woman to begin with, which I know that's a time machine answer. I hate those answers, but sometimes it is. Time machine answer meaning the only way to fix that or have the correct answer is to go back in time and do it the right way to begin with. So if you are new to the relationship game, hey, this is where you get to choose the right woman. But if you've been married for a while, hopefully you picked right to begin with. So yeah, ultimately just beware. There isn't, if a woman wants to cheat, she's gonna do it, yo. So I am sorry about that. Last tip, be strong enough to walk away, gentlemen. Ultimately, you gotta decide what you're gonna put up with, what you're willing to put up with. For me, I wouldn't put up with cheating, so you gotta be strong enough to dip out if you have to. And I know it's gonna be difficult. It's not the same as when you first got with this person. Because as you know, acquisition is elementary, but retention is hard. Now, that's the end of today's lesson. Now, you know the deal. Go ahead and throw thumbs and, subscribe if you found value in this video. And also, slide this video to somebody who might need it. Now, I know you love these lessons, so come back on and choose another video. Get some more learning in. Till next time, deuce deuce.